Hello grade 9 students. Last time we discussed how to sketch the graph of quadratic function by using the vertex form or the table of values, etc. So this time we're going to analyze the graph of quadratic functions. Analyzing the graph of quadratic functions, MELC analyzes the effects of changing the values of a, h, and k in the equation y is equal to a quantity x minus h squared plus k of a quadratic function on its graph. And then the learning objectives for this particular topic: determine the opening of the graph given the quadratic function, describe the movement of the graph of quadratic function, analyze the effect of changing the values of a, h, and k in the graph of quadratic function, and number 4, sketch the graph of the given quadratic function through transformations. Effects of changing the values of a, h, and k in the equation y equals a quantity x minus h squared plus k of the graph of the quadratic function. Recall, the vertex form of a quadratic function is expressed in the form y equals a quantity x minus h squared plus k, where h and k are the vertex of the quadratic function. The graph opens upward if the value of a is greater than 0, or if a is positive, then the graph opens upward and has a minimum point. And the graph opens downward if a is less than 0 and has a maximum point. Okay. Another, vertex hk and the line x equals h is the line of symmetry, and k is the minimum or maximum value of the function. This is how to solve for h. For h, negative b over 2a. For k, 4ac minus b squared over 4a. Axis of symmetry divides the graph into two parts such that one half of the graph reflects the other half. So parang mirror yan. They reflect each other. So as you can see, we have here in the figure a parabola that opens upward with vertex at the origin. So if the parabola opens upward, then the value of a is greater than 0. It opens upward and it has a minimum point. If it opens upward, it has a minimum point. If it opens downward, it has a maximum point. And also, we can tell that the vertex, the origin, 0, 0, and the line of symmetry is x equals x equals 0 should be. Okay, I have a typographical error here. The axis of symmetry is x equals h and h equals 0, so dapat x equals 0 yan, not 1, right? I'm sorry, maybe we cannot edit that anymore, but x equals 0. Okay. Effects of changing the values of a, h, k in y equals a quantity x minus h squared plus k and its graph. We have here letter A. The graph of y equals ax squared, narrower or wider. The greater the absolute value of a, the narrower the graph, where a is not equal to 0. The smaller the absolute value of a, the wider the graph, where a is not equal to 0. So we're going to consider the values of a. For example, here a, b, and c. A is 8, b is 18. A in a is 8. Here a is 18. C, a is 28. So as you can see, the greater the value of a, the narrower the graph. Ano siya? Narrow lang. Pero the smaller, wider the graph. Okay. So let us first graph to show you the graphs of a, b, and c. For y equals 8x squared, we have here the graph. It's wider compared to the graph of b and c. When comparing the graph of b and c, right, 28, C is narrower. The parabola in C is narrower than the graph of B because it has a greater value of A, the absolute value of A, which is 28. Right? So, comparing the three graphs here in the graph of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, the larger the value of A, the narrower is the graph. Magiging payat yung graph if it has a greater value of A. But if it has a lesser value of A, sample pag 1, it's wide, very wide, compared to a bigger value of A, greater value of A. Alright? Did you understand? Another, the graph of y equals a quantity x minus h squared can be shifted left or right when h is greater than 0. The graph shifted h units to the right. When h is less than 0, the graph is shifted units to the left. Let us compare the three quadratic functions here given their graphs, parabola. For a, y equals x minus 2 quantity squared. It's located here. Alright. The vertex is at 2, 0. But when we go to b, x plus 2 quantity squared, right, x minus 2 quantity squared here going back to a, x minus 2 quantity squared is shifted 2 units to the right from the origin, right, from the origin, kasi h is positive, h greater than 0, whereas in letter B, h is less than 0, negative 2. So the graph is shifted 2 units to the left this time. So from the origin, it was shifted 2 units to the left. How about here? Is this x minus 1? I don't think so. This should be 4. Parang may typographical error naman. This should have been 4 because the vertex is at 4, 0. So if this is 4, y equals x minus 4 quantity squared, it is shifted 4 units. Wait. Parang malito na. Should be plus 4. Kasi na-shift siya sa 4 units to the left. Plus 4. Okay? I repeat. Letter C is plus 4. Y equals x plus 4 quantity squared, so that it's shifted 4 units to the left. So pag plus 4 kasi negative yung h, diba? If h is less than 0, the graph is shifted h units to the left, like this. For example, in letter B, plus 2, that means negative 2 yung h, shifted 2 units to the left. But meanwhile, in letter A, h is 2, positive siya, it will be shifted 2 units to the right. So to graph y equals a quantity x minus h squared, slide the equation y equals ax squared horizontally h units. If h is greater than 0, slide to the right. If h is less than 0, slide to the left. Okay, I hope you understand. So looking at here, so this graph is shifted 2 units to the right. So yun yung kanyang equation, x minus 2 quantity squared. And this blue graph is shifted 2 units to the left. So this will be the equation, x plus 2 quantity squared. And this green graph shifted 4 units to the left. So this equation is x plus 4 quantity squared. So the graph has vertex h0 and its axis is the line x equals h. We have also the shape of the graph of quadratic function, upward or downward. How's that? When we're going to consider k. When k is greater than 0, the graph is shifted k units upward. When k is less than 0, the graph is shifted k units downward. Okay. Absolute value, like for example here in number 1. So these three equations, these are compared to the graph of y equals x squared. All of this. So when x squared, when the equation is y equals x squared plus 2, it is shifted 2 units up, 2 units upward. It's shifted 2 units upward to the graph of y equals x squared. But this time, y equals x squared, letter B, y equals x squared minus 2. Since k is less than 0, negative 2, the graph will be shifted 2 units downward. Okay, pababa siya sa kanyang origin. But in letter C, y equals x squared plus 4, since positive yung k, if k is greater than 0, it will be shifted 4 units upward. Ayan. So comparing the three, we have here letter A, the blue one, shifted 2 units upward. Letter B, the black one, shifted 2 units downward. And letter C, the red one here, shifted 4 units upward. Right? Okay, can you follow? Basta yung k positive, upward. Basta yung k negative, downward naman. It will shifted downward. Whereas dito sa h tayo, shifted when h is greater than 0, shifted to the right. When h is less than 0, shifted to the left. Okay. Or basta pag minus yan, minus 2, mag right ka. Pag plus 2 naman, to the left. You can also consider that to memorize. Okay. So the graph of y equals a quantity x minus h squared plus k, combination of the three. Example on how to graph using the tables. So we have here y equals a x squared, okay, values of x and the corresponding value of y, and this is the graph. While b, y equals x minus 2 quantity squared, shifted to the right because h equals 2 units to the right from the origin with the corresponding table. While we have here y equals x squared plus 3, shifted 3 units upward compared to the graph of y equals x squared because k is positive 3. Here h is positive 2, so shifted to the right. And this is, and the value of a is 8, so this will become narrower compared to the one with the value of a, which is 1. So let's proceed to exercises. Arrange each group of quadratic function from widest to narrowest graph. So I repeat, if the absolute value of a, okay, I mean the greater the narrower, the greater the absolute value of a, the narrower the graph, and the smaller the absolute value of a, the wider the graph. Pag small siya, wider. Pag greater the value of a, narrower. So answer for number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for number 1, wider to narrower, no? Pag wider, we will consider the smaller value of a. So we have C, 1/3 1/3 kasi. C, B, A. CBA, tama. Ito naman, pisa tayo sa smaller value of A, 1/5. So C, B, 1 kasi yan, tapos 2 yan. You can get this. How about in number 3? Smaller is 1/4, then 1. So BCA for number 3. How about number 4? Smaller is 1/6, then 3A, CBA. And last number, CBA ulit. Kasi 3/4, 1/3. Right? widest to narrowest graph. The smaller volume A, wider siya. The greater the volume A, narrower. Okay, remember that. Next, we have here multiple choice exercise. Write your answer before each number. The graph of y equals x squared minus 5 is obtained by sliding the graph y equals x squared. A, 5 units downward, 5 units upward, 5 units to the right, or 5 units to the left. Answer is A, 5 units downward, because k is negative 5. So mag-shift siya downward 5 units to the origin. From the origin, 5 units downward siya. How about here, number 2? Which quadratic function has the same vertex as the graph of y equals x squared and it is wider? Pag wider siya, smaller. Smaller yung kanyang value of A. So we cannot choose A, B, and C because 1, 2, 3 lang kanyang mga values ng A. Ito 1/2. So I think that D is the answer. Correct. Right? The smaller the value of A, the wider the graph. Next, the diagram below shows the graph of y equals negative x squared minus c. Which diagram shows the graph of y equals x squared minus c? A, B, C, or D? Kasi negative eh. Negative siya. Ay, teka. Okay, this diagram, yun yung ganyang graph, negative x squared minus c. Ngayon, which diagram shows the graph of y equals x squared minus c? So, pag positive, upward. So, C and D cannot be the answer, only A and B. So, since mayroon siyang shift dito sa K, which is minus, nag-downward siya ng C units downward, I think A is the answer. A, correct. Did you get the same answer also? Now, number 4. Which statement best describes the movement of y equals x squared below when the coefficient is multiplied by 5? The parabola becomes wider. The parabola becomes narrower. The parabola will shift 5 units upward. The parabola will shift 5 units to the right. Okay, magiging 5x squared na yan. So, anong mangyayari pag greater? I think B is the answer. The parabola becomes narrower. Because the greater the value of the absolute value of A, the narrower the graph. B. Tama. Number 5. The graph of a parabola is represented by the quadratic function y equals ax squared, where a is positive integer. If a is multiplied by 3, the new parabola will become narrower and open upward. Okay, meron pa dito. Describe each quadratic function movement change from the original function y equals x squared. Letter A is done for you as an example. Y equals 2x squared plus 5. The graph will be translated 5 units upward. The graph of y equals 2x plus 5 is narrower. Okay. So number 1, what's your answer? Vertical stretch by 3. So since greater than siya, greater yung 3 sa 1, kasi kino-compare na, we're comparing this function to y equals x squared plus the movement. So since greater yung 3, okay, the narrower, vertical stretch, narrower by 3. How about here, number 2? Y equals negative 0.75 x squared plus 8. Mas wider ng konti. Vertical compression by 0.75. Compression means yung wider. Vertical stretch, narrower. Reflection over axis. Vertical translation up by 8. So it will become wider, should say. Vertical compression, wider. Vertical stretch, narrower. Tama ba? Yes. And it will be translated 8 units upward. Ay, teka, reflection. Magre-reflect siya kasi negative. So it will open downward, so reflection over the x-axis. Vertical translation by 8. How about the number 4? Vertical stretch by, number 3. Vertical stretch by 3 should be for reflection over the x-axis. Vertical translation by 4. Parang mali yata yung answer na nyo. Balitan natin. For number 3, vertical translation by 4. Vertical translation down by 7. And how about number 4? Also here. So let's continue. We are now in number so in number 3, translation down by 7. Number 4, vertical compression by 0.3. Vertical translation up by 4. Again, this should have been 5. Sorry for the typographical error. In number 4, vertical compression by 0.3. Vertical translation up by 5. Mag-up siya ng 5. And in number 5, magiging narrower yung graph. So vertical stretch by 5 and translation down by 2 units. Okay, did you understand that? Next, determine the function whose graphs are described below. The graph of y equals x squared shifted 3 units upward. X squared plus 3. Okay, upward eh. Pag downward, x squared minus 3. Next, the graph of f of x 1/2 cos 1/2 x squared shifted 8 units to the right of the origin. 1/2 x equals 1/2 8. Teka, ano ba to? I'm sorry for this. Sorry for the typographical errors. We just change for a little bit. Yeah, we can continue now. Oh my god. Wait. We are now here, right? Now here. So let's continue. So in number 1, the graph x squared plus 3. In number 2, 1/2 x squared plus 8. 1/2 x squared shifted 8 units to the right of the origin. Shifted to the right. And dapat minus. Diba? Ano ba itong answer niya? So dito na lang tayo magsagot. So for number 2, 1/2 x squared shifted 8 units to the right of the origin. So dapat h is positive, so minus ito. Minus 8. Yan. How about in number 4? 4x squared shifted 5 units downward. 5 units downward. Yan. 5 units downward, so minus 5. And 8 units to the right, so minus 8. Yan, tama ba? Next, number 4. The graph of y equals 3x squared shifted 4 units to the left of the origin. So, negative. So, plus 4 tayo dyan. Wala na yan. Okay, how about here? The graph of y equals 5x squared shifted 9 units upward. Ayun, y equals 5x squared plus 9. Okay, did you get? Did you get the same answer? Okay, you can screenshot on this part. So number 1, shifted 3 units upward, x squared plus 3, y equals x squared plus 3. Shifted 8 units to the right of the origin, x 1/2, y equals 1/2 times quantity x minus 8 squared. Number 4, shifted 5 units downward, so minus 5. 8 units to the right, so minus 8 squared. Dito naman, sa number 4, shifted 4 units to the left of the origin, so plus 4. Pag left, plus 4. Pag minus, to the right. And number 5, shifted 9 units upward, so plus 9. Pag downward, minus 9. Thank you very much for listening. Sorry for the typographical errors. Okay, see you next time. Goodbye.